Thank you for sharing, darling. Okay, so we are live on YouTube. Welcome. This is Womanhood, Spirituality Enrich. My name is Naima Singletary. I broadcast here Monday through Thursday. When I say here, I mean TikTok and YouTube. We'll see how much longer I continue to do YouTube. But I am here every Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific as the founder of the Academy for Womanhood. So if you're new here, my name is Naima. I am the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, where women come to grow up and design and live unapologetic lives that are led by desire. And a lot of the women who come into my world, whether we talk on the phone and work together or not, is some version of wanting to do something big in the world, and their emotionality gets in the way of them being big in the world. So they have issues oftentimes with, I used to be powerful. And then either my mom or middle school, sometimes it goes back that far, middle school, um, women, Black women in the community, friends, etc. They didn't like me powerful. They were sneaky about it. I've been on the receiving end of trauma by a lot of Black women, um, nastiness, just pain, a variety of different pains in relationship with Black women. And so then when these women want to come out into the world and take up space, like a woman I spoke with earlier today was talking about, she said, I really want to own my space. This is a woman that has over 100,000 followers on YouTube. Okay. And I talk to women like her all the time who either they have money, like they got assets, money, etc. They have large followings, but it's not converting into the authentic expression that they're looking for in their highest mission. There's a difference. And this is where we start talking about true power for not only women as a collective, but melanin dominant women. And today I have a special guest with me, as you see here on the screen, and I'm getting ready to make her face the primary face up on the screen in a minute because I just wanted to do this formal introduction to set the scene. And I'm so pleased and delighted and grateful and happy and joyful and all the things that she agreed to be here. But this is the topic today, as you see on the screen: sisterhood after women didn't like you in your power. Again, today's topic is sisterhood after women didn't like you in your power. I mean, we could apply this to men too, right? But for today's conversation, we're keeping it in the dynamic between woman and woman. And so I like to introduce this woman who you see here on the screen before I make her face the big face on the screen. Darling, thank you so much. There's so much that will remain unsaid because I'm grateful for what's happening behind the scenes. That, listen, if this is what it can be, it will show. We won't even have to talk about it. It'll show. So that's what I look forward to. So I'll keep that part of our relationship quiet. And what I will say is this is a powerful woman. This is April, the founder of Holistic Femme. Is that correct? Holistic Femme? Am I saying it right, April? Holistic Femme World. She's a powerful woman. And I could say so much more, but I'd rather show than tell. And so she's going to be joining me in this conversation, and we're going to talk about our conversations we've had and our relationship and the crucible of our relationship, because that's how I see it. And any person who's living an intentional life, and really, especially when you're us, those of us who are of a very powerful line, and woo, you're in this world, but you're not of it, and you have deep, deep, deep feelings and a high call that is, mm, it will rupture your whole system if you don't act. How about that? Is that accurately stated, April? It will rupture your system if you don't act. Implode, right? And this is how you know that you're one of the ones. So without further ado, I'll welcome to you this woman who our relationship is a crucible and will continue to be until, like I told you this morning, until if you decide to abandon ship, because I have a track record. Okay. I'm obedient. Okay. So I never am concerned about myself. And it's not that I'm either concerned with people, I just let them show. That's it. That's my job. Do my part and let other people show. So I'm just delighted that our relationship has endured thus far. And I look forward to what's more to come. And I really look forward to what can happen when two extremely powerful people do difficult things together. The
Yes.
knowledge that we're so hungry for as not only humans, but as melanin dominant people, the knowledge that is so unseen, that is so left in the dream world, all of that floating away stuff and going off into other, bringing it down to the ground, making it practical so that we manifest, make real the things that are, yes, make life worth living
Yes.
beyond the basics.
Yes.
So without further ado, I welcome you to this powerful, delightful woman, Miss April De La Jour.
So much. Um, Hi, everyone. How are you today?
Hey.
I am April De La Jour. I am the creator of the Black Hair Salon Revolution. I am the founder and social entrepreneur to Holistic from World Retail Salon Group, and I personally am on a mission to support independent salon professionals, more specifically independent stylists, to deepen their relationship with their clients, so that they then can, in turn, reclaim not only their wealth in the industry, but also to support them creating career lifestyles that are designed for liberated women. And so the work that I've been doing with Naima Singletary has brought me closer to, reconditioning my entire feminine body, those mind, body, spirit, my emotional body, my nervous system. And it's actually been very transformative. It's been very helpful over the course of this year that I've been in touch with Naima and her works. And Naima, where do we go from here? Because it's been truly a
The
journey.
beginning of our relationship. The beginning of our relationship, and this is going to be a dynamic conversation. I like to remind you that today's topic is. Can you read the screen, April? Because I can't even see my screen now since I made your face bigger. So, sisterhood after women have not liked you in your power, something like that. Sisterhood, community after women have not liked you in your power. And in the beginning of Rachel and I's relationship, and I'm going to be transparent, like this, be transparent. It'll change your life. It'll open you up in ways that your will alone, you're going to exhaust yourself just trying to use your will alone. Okay. I told April, I said, April, you were not clean in the beginning of our relationship. So April found me online. Is that true, April? You found me online? How we all find each other these days because we're so isolated in our worlds. Like I was telling April, quick caveat, the part of me that is so hated the distortion of being here on earth that prevents the profound connection and love and bounty like we're please stop, and how much that activated with some opening that has happened very recently. uh so Rachel found me online. I'm gonna keep saying Rachel. Hi, Rachel. I have been thinking about her. Hi, we'll talk. April was in touch and we connected and we were on the phone and you weren't clean. And I told you that this morning. And I keep my system clean at all costs. I don't care what it looks like. I'm keeping my system clean. This system needs to be pure. This system needs to be pure. And every single one of us who's sincere about power and keeping your shit together, if you let this become dirty, you become, what is it, April? Calcified. Thank you. I love that you have words so often. I love that you have words so often.
And decalcifying is the work that you are introducing us to.
Yeah. So, yesterday, April and I talked. Right? Yesterday was such a day. And so we talked yesterday, April and I, and so many things were said. But one of the things that said is, I know you're powerful and you need to be clean. Yes or no, April? Did I say that?
Yeah.
You need to be clean. So we talked about, I brought up some things about her behavior in the past and us cleaning some things up. And what was one of the things you shared about why you behaved with me the way you did? You were scared of what? Or you didn't?
Rejection.
Yeah, exactly. You felt rejected. So April shared that she felt rejected inside of an exchange she and I were having on Facebook. Now, this right here, this we need to put the anchor down on this right here. This is a point to be made. Okay. April and I'm sure plenty of you who are listening right now, you love to be alone, don't you? We're in isolation all the time, aren't we? That's our habituated state. And when I say isolation, we could be married still in isolation because we do that too, don't we? The spouse is safe because they're familiar, right? And like it's like I don't have to deal with anybody else, right? And at some point that gets suffocating, and you see once you see, right, how that's just a containment of sorts because there's a part of you that really dislikes being on planet Earth. How about that? Anybody here agree with that? There's a part of you that like the bullshit that's here, like, and because you've also been in these relationships with people who didn't like your power,
Correct.
right? Who didn't like you powerful, who when you were awake, somebody said Earth is ghetto, especially if way very much so. The more you isolate, the more you tap into the distortion of people, and you keep yourself out of your power. I'm telling you. Anyway, so it feels horrible. And then when you think about coming out into the world and connecting with people, and I have to go in like 30 minutes, I have a dentist appointment. Connect with people, you just are reminded of women don't like you in your power. Right? What else, April? What makes you like, no, I don't want to do that?
Um, Having to defend myself and why I do what I do. That's probably one of the more exhausting aspects of womanhood. Is the constant criticism for being authentic.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, the vast majority of us are expecting for, the mask is what we think has been working. And so when I remove the mask, that raw power, that rawness is like, oh my gosh, why doesn't she put on a filter?
Yeah.
And so that's been one of my challenges, and for sure, because
Anybody here resonate with that? Anybody here resonate with that? Go ahead, April.
Especially in company with women. Not so, when I'm in company with women, I want to be open because in that space, we are afforded that vulnerability.
Yeah.
Can you be so vulnerable with a man? Like, there's a different level of vulnerability with your children, with your partner, and then that which you experience when you encounter women who are open
Yes.
to, right?
Uh-huh.
Even just the other day, I went into the bank to take care of some business, and the bank teller, we sat there for 3 hours talking about our lives, and we were just sharing, all types of things, and it just flowed. And just imagine, if we could just, if that can just be in a constant state of existence, I think that
because I really want to thank you. I really want to speak to how our fear of life, our fear of our power, our fear of being hurt again, our fear of being made wrong and bad, our fear of, being judged, or as you said, having to defend my authenticity, whatever is the reason why any woman here would be remaining small and isolated and being like Earth is ghetto, like Dee Dee said. Okay. And our relationship and how any relationship inside of a dedicated community, this is next level, you guys. This is true raw power over here. That's what it is. If you don't want raw power, this is not for you. Simple as that. And raw power for a woman makes you, most people don't want you in their space when you are a raw power woman. Okay. I want to keep saying this as a disclaimer because I don't want nobody in my face about it. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, I'm listening to you.
When you are true, really true, not like, well, I'll be true if, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? It is highly confronting to your entire nervous system to be a true. And yet the power that all of us want, particularly those of us who have a mission, like April, like me, who are of that line, the rawness is going to fuck you up. So if you don't let it out, if you don't purify your system through authentic expression as a lifestyle, and yes, it's difficult. It is difficult. Okay. That's what separates you. And it actually tells you who you are. That's a whole other conversation. The relationship is the crucible. The sisterhood is the crucible. So I'm inviting you all here, wherever you're listening to my voice right now, to Rachel, we will talk, okay? That April and I are Rachel really wants to talk. That April and I are having right now about powerful woman to powerful woman, both sharing experiences of not being liked by other women for being in our power. Both went into isolation. Both went into hiding and playing small. Both have paid the price of hiding and playing small. Both have been doubtful about being in relationship again with power and have made the decision. You could call it brave, you could call it courage, you could call it life or death, because at some point it's not even courage anymore. It's like, if I don't do this, I'm going to, as April says, implode. And when you are truly of that line of power, you will fuck some shit up if you withhold what is true. Yes or no, April? Has that been your experience?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I want to be clear about that. Now, so I'm getting ready to go dynamic here. So that's one. Now, all of you, many of you are not of that line, right? It will show. I don't need to wonder about that. It will show who's of that line. However, those of us who are of that line, we are in high service to those of you who are of another line, okay? Because we have missions here. The woman who I talked to this morning has over 100,000 subscribers. She is of a line of power, and she's drawn here to be supported in coming out of her power, coming out. And as she's called it, she used the word, what did she say, April? Owning my space is what she said. Owning my space. Something like that. And so April and I have made the agreement that our relationship is a crucible. No matter what it looks like, business, we're doing this business together. Our relationship is a crucible. We're deliberately using our relationship to engage in alchemical work to become more true in our power and our expression and our leadership and our authenticity. And every single relationship is that. And there needs to be a between the two people, right? Like April and I agreed to this. What do you say to this, April?
I think it's very important that we have these not agreements with each other, but having the agreement, making the agreement internally with ourselves that we are willing to, we have to commit to this work, because we can. One thing that I realized even before I started to deepen my relationship with you, Naima, is that in my isolation, that doesn't offer my nervous system any justice. My nervous system is actually shrinking in isolation, and it's not conditioned to take on even, the smallest of projects.
Yeah.
Because I'm in isolation and not in community with other women who are powerful in the same way that I am, and witnessing them show up in the way that they do. And as they witness me show up, we get to, bounce energies, right? Bounce energies off of one another, absorb each other, right? We get to transmute energy, right? We get to do all these things in company of one another if we're willing to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the closer you and I grow together, Naima, the more that I begin to expand. And as I expand, that's when life begins to respond to me.
Thank you. I'd like to talk about this nervous system work and why it matters. And another piece that just came up is how bad you will look. And I'm going to talk about it like this, because this is what it feels like inside of the woman. Initially, when she has not developed a strong mind, how bad you look when you really start being true and getting to know your true, as April calls, your feminine instincts. Our feminine instincts are far beyond the logical. And we need to bring that power to the ground. This, what many of us are doing, floating off into other dimensions, but we can't bring it down here and be powerful down here on earth. The way this woman who I have 100,000 YouTube, over 100,000 YouTube subscribers. I got this, I got that, but I'm unable to monetize it. I'm not able to really come into the power. I know all this, I that. The bringing it down to the ground. Exactly. Grow up, Noreen said. Exactly. That's what we're doing here. Bringing it to the ground, you're going to look bad. What do I mean by bad? God, this could get long. I just thinking about, I feel like this needs to go inside of like a private workshop or something like that because I want to share a story, but I want to get into it and I don't have time. At least not today. So, April, I want you to add to this. So, women have instincts all the time that we ignore, that we push down for whatever reason. Okay. And it'll just sit there. It'll just sit in our system and it'll, what do you call it, calcify? It'll calcify. Yes, April? And then in that calcification, how does that show up in our life? What does it look like? What does it feel like? When we have a feminine instinct that particularly has us go do, look, say something that would be destabilizing to our nervous system, which ties to why nervous system matters, which the nervous system gets to develop inside the community. Gosh, this feels so. I know this is dynamic and high level. It's for the women who are ready for that. Go ahead.
Well, no, the nervous system work is the real work
Yeah.
because through you, Naima, the following that feminine instinct was so key, right? Because in order for me to break free, right, break out from that conditioning that my nervous system was functioning, I had to do something radical.
Yeah. And what was radical for you and how did it feel?
What was radical for me was
the specific act or the dropping of a thought. Like we need to trace it down so women can see.
So my feminine instinct one morning after my meditation, right? After my meditation, I went into tears. I was crying and I was thinking about why am I in this particular space that I'm in? Why am I existing in this way? And my feminine instinct told me to go live and talk about it live. And going live, it liberated me because I was wearing this mask. I have on my personal account, I have people who have been following me for a very long time, waiting for me to unfold. But there was this mask that I had been wearing that was preventing me from showing up authentically because I'm curious to know how they're going to receive my work.
Right.
But by showing up,
okay, stop. Say that again. I'm curious.
I was curious to know what they were going to think in relationship to how I present my work.
All right, so right? I'd like to offer up some compassion here right now. Okay. And you know where I'm getting ready to go already. See, this is what happens in relationship. What just happened, April?
I think what just happened is you're hearing where perhaps my ego is involved and it hasn't fully processed. It hasn't fully processed how the world receives me.
Yeah. And there's more there. There's more there, but I'm not, in the interest of time, I'm not going to dig into that. But here's the point. You see what just happened with April and I right there? It's those moments right there in relationship with other powerful women that you get to tease it and come alive. This is the point I want to make. This is what happens in our community. This is what happens in our community. This is what happens in our community. If you're ready to grow up, come into our Womanhood initiation happening on Thursday, 10 a.m. The link is in my bio on TikTok right now. You go to the link in my bio, click it, click Womanhood initiation, and you'll get the link to join us on Zoom. If you can't be on time, if you can't be on camera, if you're unwilling to speak and all that, don't come. Now, if you want to register and maybe show up at another time, you can do that. But if you know you're not ready to be seen, heard, grow up, come into your power through this Womanhood initiation, do not register, okay? However, if you are ready for this level of nuance that you just witnessed with April and I, you need to talk about love, talk about high level. Now, what just happened there is I heard And oftentimes we hear this in our relationships with our sisters, with our friends, with our mothers, even with the men in our lives. We'll hear this. Our feminine instinct will hear it, but we won't say anything for whatever reason, right? We whatever the reason, right? We don't want an argument to ensue. We don't want to whatever could happen out of that, right? Monique said this is good. Yeah, exactly. This is about community. This is real power. April was telling me I won't get off track because time. Um, but April's gonna be back. And so we will hear this in other people and we'll hear it in ourselves. And what happens in our relationships is we constantly let people off the hook. We constantly let ourselves off the hook. And this is what I mean when I said, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago about how we quietly keep each other small. Quietly. And we do it by I don't say anything, you don't say anything, and we contempt grows under the radar. Contempt. You get that, April. And
Yes.
contempt chokes the power that you want to be visible in the world, to have a pure system. Because, see, a lot of you all are congested and you have a lot of stories around your congestion. Whatever the story is, oh my God, the list is exhaustive about the reasons you tell yourself why you chose this, why you live like this, and why you may have something that is good, right? In a basic fundamental level. Like, oh, this is good. Clean energy is exactly what it is. Constantly, constantly. Who's this? Noreen says we have to own our voice, speak our truth so that we can live our life. And so let me, when you, so, right. And it's only, at least in my experience, right, when there's an agreement in the relationship that this relationship is meant to be a crucible. Let me define crucible. April, can you define crucible?
Crucible in a witchy sense,
Go
right?
ahead. Go ahead. Go
The
ahead.
crucible is just in a visualization. It's just that bowl, that cauldron where we all come together, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way, in that crucible, you get to challenge me, right? In the same way that I felt challenged, but there's
What's
no
up?
escape in the crucible. You shouldn't, right? Once you get in the crucible, you can't escape it,
Yes.
right?
And that's where we want to be. And it's
Yeah.
with love. And this is where I talked a couple weeks ago about how you corner. Most of us are not cornered. And we choose relationships. I've done that. I've chosen men who I knew would not hold me to account, who I knew couldn't see me, right? Who would just, let's just have a good time. Like, you know what I mean? Let's just have dinner, have sex, or whatever role I want you to play. We're going to keep it right there. Versus picking a man that I know would challenge, right? Who would see me. Yeah. And so that's your story. So the crucible is where you agree to come into this for the heat of being confronted from a loving perspective. Because, hello, we all want to be free. We have missions. We want to play bigger on the world stage. We're sick and tired of the Black woman story. Just sick and tired. Just sick and tired of the struggle Black woman story. Even all these conversations about what is feminine. You broads don't know nothing about you. Everything you say about what is feminine is through a male lens. You are a man in a woman's body. I don't care what nobody say. These ideas that's floating around here about what feminine is, get out of here. Feminine power is fierce, baby. When a woman is feminine and her system is clear, fierce. You are congested, is what you are. You are congested. And that may not apply to any of you here, but knowing myself, I know what
Well, I'm
feminine.
congested.
Yeah. Okay. Let's tell the truth. Yes. Let's tell.
Congestion. That's a fact.
Yeah. And so we have power. Woo. So where do I want to go with this? One, sign up for the Womanhood community. I mean, you can't sign up for the community yet. What you can do is you can go to the link in my bio and sign up for the Womanhood initiation. We are transformation. We are transforming the action. Like, we're doing something that is dangerous to do. This is not just a coaching thing. We are changing the way the world looks bit by bit. And I'm looking for vast, and there's been getting shit out the way so I can be available. I'm telling you, y'all, this is next level. This world planet that we live on. Don't you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Be legit, be clean. Look at the intent of your question. This planet Earth where we are living, that we looking out, when you go look at Thailand, all of that, yes, we are all seeing different things, but you know what I mean when I say this world. Come correct. Okay? Now, with the 10 minutes that we have left, this is what I would like for you to talk about, April, because a lot of Black women find their way to me who come from the consciousness community, who have been embedded in it, who have worked with all of the Francis Cress Weldings and the, what's that other man name who shouts a lot?
I mean, we can go down a list of them, for Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
What's
so
that man? He's well known. He's well respected. He shouts, "Cause the Father and him." What's his name?
Wait, there's a few of them. There's from my day, Dr. Phil Valentine. Then there's
Bobby Hemmett. Yeah, him, Bobby Hemmett.
Somebody. That's who I was going to.
Bobby Hemmett, right? So a lot of women who have worked with him, who have studied with all these different, consciousness community, and I've never been in the consciousness community. I never felt drawn to it. Something about it wasn't fully clean to me. And so a lot of women like you have come from that world, were distorted in that world, have said some version of what you said, that the men there want to be worshipped. And that so many women's systems have been distorted being in those communities. And what I would like to hear you speak, and let me put your face up on the screen. What do you have to say about how women, let's talk about melanin dominant women systems specifically, how much their systems have been distorted inside the consciousness community, which you have witnessed from your own experience, and what's going on? Like, if you could elaborate on what you began to tell me yesterday. Somebody said it's very patriarchal, that the men want to be worshipped. It's not clean. It's not real power. That you and several people have said to me it was infiltrated, and like the men want the power, but they're scared, and like all the things, and how essentially how that corrupts the woman in her purity and her full power.
So I just feel and I'm going to speak more specific to my relationship.
Please.
And I think there's a disconnect in the conscious community where we do have this vast intelligence, right, of multiple dimensions and how things work in this world and how things work over there, but we don't know how we work and function here on this earth because we're so busy escaping our bodies to exist in other spaces. And this is very much one of the reasons why I stopped waking people up. Because, and this is why you are such a tremendous, so valuable to the community, Naima, because what happens is we wake people up and we don't have systems in place, right, to guide people through this journey of self-discovery, right, in aligning with their authentic self. And so I think this is where the conscious community has failed, has faltered, and has done a disservice to not just Black women, but the entire, or melanin-dominated women, as you like to say, but the entire community, because we're escaping our bodies with this information as opposed to becoming full-bodied, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so the work that you're offering us, Naima, it's a full circle moment for me, I'm going to say, because many of us in the community, we are very spiritual. We can tap into our ancestry. We can tap into our magic. We can tap into all these different things, but it's so, and it's no disrespect to anyone, and I can say this because I experienced it too, but we come into these communities and we practice foundational magic. But our leaders in the conscious community are not elevating us, right, beyond the magic at the altar, right? Because at some point, right, and I think the ladies who are here can I think you understand, if you've been doing this work long enough, at some point you have to transfer the altar from this 3D realm and make the altar you. You become the altar. You don't need the altar anymore. You don't need sage anymore. You don't need the Palo Santo. You don't need any of that. You have to become a part of that. And I think that's where the conscious community has failed, both women and men, and just in general. And so the work that you're doing, Naima, I think this is another phase to that enlightened or conscious community effort, because you're providing systems, you're providing community, you're giving, and it's not to say you're the only one doing it, but to the level, the degree that you're offering it, it is truly pure, Naima. And I think, again, the disconnect is we're not doing that nervous system work, right? And the only way we can do that nervous system work is in community with other people who are also doing the work.
How do you
right?
see these issues that you're speaking to intercepting the ability for the male and the female to connect in full power?
For the male and female, man can never attract, or she could never attract that man.
Okay, you broke up. Your screen went blank. It said live pause. What did you say?
So if a woman is not in her full power, right? If let's just say this man is claims to be alpha, right? And he's attracted to this woman. He consummates with this woman, and he's claiming that this woman is in her full power. She's the most beautiful woman I've encountered. She's
my
queen. I don't know,
queen.
whatever term these men use nowadays, right? But if she's not living in the way that you are suggesting, then he's not in his full power.
Right.
And so both men and women, we have and I personally believe that there's a balance between a feminine and masculine. I think that's what's happening. It's not the feminine is overpowering the masculine.
True.
I just think that both in men and women, we are giving rise to that feminine essence.
What I want to hear you speak to, because I've heard a lot of these things from different melanin dominant women who come from the consciousness community, and I'm wondering their and your perspective on what gets in the way of this, like the true full power that we know, that once the male and the female exist together and create from that level, what gets in the way of that from your perspective?
It's ego.
It's ego. Okay.
Because the work, yes, it's nervous system work, but we have to be willing to endure those egoic. We have to break through. Like, what's the term I'm looking for? There's a term. There's why is it escaping me? There's these ego micro deaths, right?
Yeah.
These ego deaths. That's what we have to constantly experience, because the belief systems, we all have our own set of unique belief systems, and that's what's separating us. And it's the belief system, and it's all falsehoods. Most of them are falsehoods, right? And so if I'm operating from a falsehood, meaning the mask that I wear, especially as melanin-dominated woman, we have to show up with all these masks in order to be considered as whole in society and accepted, right? Otherwise, we're categorized as insane or whatever the case. But if we're showing up that way, there's no way that we can truly show up, right, to meet a man, or a man can fully show up to meet a woman in their full power.
Yeah.
You can only meet yourself as you are.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah, you're right.
So even for me, the men in my life, the men I have chosen in my life, because I wasn't in my full power, I was choosing men who weren't in their full power.
Yeah, every time.
Every time. And so I think we have to be willing, and that's a part of the nervous system work. When that ego dies, the nervous system responds. And what we do with the nervous system, right? And I'll tell you, that's deep breath work. It gets hot. It gets sweaty. It's all. It's an rich emotional experience.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to be willing to do, because once you get on the other side, it's all sunshine. It's and honestly, Naima, you've instructed me in a variety of ways, and I swear to you, doing that work, the consecutive wins, man.
Yeah.
This is not material things. Oftentimes, the miracle comes from within.
I'm telling you.
You know, it's worth more than the money that's being invested.
Listen. And then quickly, with the maybe 3 minutes, we have 3 minutes, but only take a minute, please. how the pussy plays into this and the true feminine instinct. Because when I hear feminine instinct, I'm thinking pussy power. There's alignment there, okay? And
Absolutely.
how has that been playing out in the consciousness community? What kind of the word choking is coming to mind. So, what has been your experience of true? Because when the woman's raw power is activated, the pussy is front. Okay, it speaks. The pussy knows. Okay, a person can talk and holler and try to slap all kind of ideology on it. Pussy know. Okay, so what have
What I
you?
like to say,
Huh, go.
where there is confusion, the pussy is not there.
Let me hold on. I need to record that for the dang t-shirt. Say that again. We got the
Where there is confusion, the pussy is not there.
where there is confusion, the pussy is not there.
But
Listen,
the yoni brings clarity.
all the time. Listen. So if since we know that, just get into it. Yes, yes. I have a dentist appointment.
This work is hard,
It's hard.
but we gotta do it.
Yes.
It's so hard. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna even lie. I'm not gonna start tearing on your live.
You can tear.
It's hard, and I've honestly gotten through a lot. Breaking free from my prison. I'm not. I would rather us do this in community, right?
Yeah.
But breaking free from this prison is not easy. But
Yeah.
when you do it, you're gonna look at yourself, and you're going to be you're going to be in awe of who you are and
Yes.
who you were. You're
Yeah.
going to have so much compassion for the person you want to let go of.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
going to be so much love there, and
Yeah.
you're going to care what other people think.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, like
Yeah.
that identity that we're so enamored with, right? We're just, oh, that's who I am. That's how people perceive me. Once we break free from that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that you truly have to experience for yourself.
It's true.
You know,
Yes.
and having someone like Naima, who is so, because to be real with you, this type of work, if you're not a master, you can destroy yourself.
Yeah.
You need someone supporting you through this.
It's true.
You know, you really do. And Naima, for you to come and create this space for us, right? And I don't even want to call it a safe space because that's not. We don't want it safe. We don't want safety.
It used to be safe. Nipsey Hussle got a song that says it used to be stay safe. Now it's stay dangerous. He said it ain't no point in playing defense, nigga. That's why I dove off the end of the without a life jacket. What y'all know what I'm talking about that song? He said that's why I dove off the end of the whatever you call that without a life jacket. It used to be safe. Now it's stay dangerous. Listen, what? Is you playing or not? Like, what game is you playing? You're very welcome. Kimmy said this is so empowering.
And it's hard. It's really hard. But once you get into the groove of it, listen, I give so much thanks for you, Naima.
Likewise.
You know, because the prison, I know you heard Naima say, you know, some of y'all got some sophisticated prisons.
Ooh.
I'm one of those people.
They be pretty, too. They be so decorated. So decorated with so many of the accoutrements of being human. Oh, and then it's like, oh God, until it's like, this ain't enough. It's nice, right? It helps, it gives me, what do you call that? That makes me stay. That makes it easy to stay. What is it called? Momentum, stability, familiarity.
You talking about stay safe? Or you talking about the safety?
Same thing. There you go.
I meant stay in the crucible. No. That stability, that's an illusion.
Listen, I got to go to the dentist. You inspire me. Thank you. I look forward to connecting with you later today. I love you too. Thank you all for being here again. If you're ready for this level of power, and this is over the long term, come to the Womanhood Initiation. We're going to be on camera. We're going to do some alchemical work, digging into fear, digging into what's happening in the unconscious mind that's causing patterns. If you are sick and tired of being enclosed, disempowered, tight, scared, not being able to manifest or do, and you're ready to transform your life and have what you know is yours, come to the Womanhood Initiation. Go to the link in my bio, click it, and then click Womanhood Initiation. I think it's option number 2. And then same thing, the link will be placed with this video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you for the hands that guide it, that help us penetrate. Thank you so much, April, for being here. Again, I'm here Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific. So I'll see you all tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye, April. Talk to you soon.